Ever wonder what happens when a gold digger meets a calm man with boundaries? I was standing in the bathroom of the most expensive French restaurant in the city, scrubbing soap off my hands, when my pocket vibrated against my thigh. It wasn't a text. It wasn't an email. It was the specific, jarring double buzz of my banking security app. I dried my hands on a paper towel, feeling a sudden, cold knot tighten in my stomach, and pulled the phone out. The screen was glowing with a red notification banner that made the blood drain from my face. Identity guard alert. New inquiry detected. TransUnion credit report accessed. I stared at the screen. I hadn't applied for a loan. I wasn't buying a house. I wasn't financing a car. I was on a third date with a woman named Vanessa, a woman who had spent the last 2 hours asking me very specific questions about my 5-year plan and why I chose to drive a 2018 Honda Civic when I seemed so ambitious. I unlocked the phone to see the details. The inquiry had been initiated 45 seconds ago, from a mobile device. I didn't rush out of the bathroom immediately. I stood there, staring at my reflection in the mirror, watching my pupils dilate as the realization hit me like a freight train. I had left my wallet on the table. I had left it right next to the bread basket because I didn't like sitting on it. In that wallet was my driver's license, my primary debit card, and, stupidly, my social security card which I had needed for a bank appointment earlier that day and forgot to take out. I walked out of the restroom. The restaurant was dimly lit, filled with the soft clinking of silverware and the low murmur of people pretending to be happier than they were. I navigated through the tables, keeping my eyes fixed on booth 14. Vanessa wasn't looking at the menu. She wasn't looking at the door, waiting for me. She was hunched over the table, the soft candlelight illuminating her face. In her left hand, she held my driver's license. In her right hand, her thumb was flying across her iPhone screen with a speed that was honestly impressive if it wasn't so terrifying. I stopped 5 feet away. I just watched her. She flipped the license over, checked the back, then typed something else. She tapped the screen, waited, and then a slow, satisfied smile spread across her face. It was the kind of smile a shark gives before it drags a seal into the deep. She set the license back on the table, slid it perfectly into the leather slot of my wallet, and closed it. She picked up her water glass, took a sip, and looked up. When she saw me standing there, she didn't jump. She didn't look guilty. She just smiled, that practiced, dazzling smile that had hooked me on Hinge 3 weeks ago. Everything okay? She asked, her voice smooth as silk. I don't know, I said, my voice dangerously low. My bank seems to think someone just tried to run a credit check on me. I sat down. The air between us instantly shifted from romantic tension to a cold war. Vanessa didn't flinch. She didn't apologize. She just set her glass down and looked me dead in the eye. Well, she said, shrugging her shoulders like we were discussing the weather. I had to be sure. Sure of what? I asked, feeling the heat rising in my neck. Sure that I'm a real person. You could have Googled me. Sure that you aren't wasting my time, she hissed, her voice dropping to a whisper so the couple next to us wouldn't hear. Look, David, we're not 21 anymore. I'm 27. You're 28. Valentine's Day is next week. I don't date projects. I date investments. I blinked. Investments? I'm a human being, Vanessa. You drive a Honda, she shot back, pointing a manicured finger at me. You wear a watch that doesn't have a brand name on the face. You rent an apartment instead of buying. On paper, you look like a dead end, but you talk like you have money. You carry yourself like you have money. I needed to know which version was the lie. So you stole my ID and ran a credit check while I was peeing. I verified your potential, she corrected me. And honestly, I'm impressed. 810 credit score. Low debt-to-income ratio. Significant assets in your brokerage account. You're doing a lot better than you look. I felt my vision go blurry with rage. This wasn't just a violation of privacy. It was a violation of my entire philosophy. I didn't drive a Honda because I was broke. I drove a Honda because I was a lead back-end engineer for a fintech startup that had gone public last year. I had cashed out enough equity to retire today if I wanted to. I lived quietly because I was terrified of exactly this. Women who looked at me and saw a walking ATM. You violated federal privacy laws, I whispered, leaning across the table. You committed identity fraud to see if I was worthy of buying you a steak dinner. In the next few minutes, you're going to see exactly what happens when someone values a credit score over a human soul. I'm going to walk you through every second of the trap I laid, the panic that ensued, and the aftermath that went viral in my city. Follow instructions on screen to watch full version.